Hey, hey. Good morning. Welcome into the Out of Bounds Show. ESPN 1059 The Zone. Unbelievable schedule of games for this weekend. The SEC schedule's insane. Starting tomorrow morning at 11 a.m., Bama at Mizzou. Holy Mary Olzap. Let's go. I mean, Georgia at Auburn, Florida at A&M, South Carolina at LSU. The list goes on and on. Bama could get upset, by the way, tomorrow morning. That line's -2.5, so we'll see how that shakes out. Georgia and Auburn's going to be a damn dogfight. Florida and A&M, I expect that to be close. The list goes on and on. We'll see if A&M can separate themselves, but I'm not convinced of that quite yet. Jackson is. So we're live in the Bank Plus studio. And the SEC Insider Hit this morning is brought to you by Fowler GMC. If you're in the market for a new or pre-owned GMC Sierra truck or GMC Yukon, Fowler GMC Pearl Brandon. And their website is fowlergmc.com, Fowler, fowlergmc.com, locally owned. And the Out of Bounds show is driven by your next GMC Sierra truck from Fowler GMC in Pearl Brandon. We want to welcome in our friend, 6'10", AAA San Francisco Giants, NFL Podcast of the Year 2 years ago. His show, Check the Mic, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, all that. Cincinnati Reds, I guess, fan. Steve Palazzolo joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance guest line. What'd you think about the intro, Steve P?
Wow, that was amazing. It's like you rattled off 20 years of my life all in a row there. That was great.
I feel good about it. I may retire after this show after that. But how you been? Hey, what do we all need to get Cam Scattaboo bobblehead dolls now before the rush goes?
Yeah, yeah, he's incredible. The guy's amazing. He's elevating your guy Jackson Dart, making him a star. All Scattaboo there.
Oh man, he is so damn good. So one of our listeners, I want to get your thoughts here, because we had somebody mention Mike Allstott and Christian Okoye, but somebody mentioned a smaller version of Peyton Hillis, and I like it. What do you think, Steve P?
Yeah, I've seen the Peyton Hillis comp come out there. The only thing I didn't like about any of those is I thought he had even more than that coming out, so I didn't want to just compare him to the guys who just run people over, but that's what he's doing. That's what he's doing in the NFL. But, like, the guy can catch out of the backfield, too.
Right.
Like, he's a really smooth athlete, too. He's not like a 240-pound mauler, but he plays with that type of power. Pretty incredible what he's doing. And, I mean, I've got a theory, too. You know, if a guy's just the best player on the field in big games, like Scattaboo was against Texas in the college football playoff, and you're like, this guy's just willing Arizona to victory. They're giving him direct snaps. He's throwing the ball. He's catching the ball. He's running it. I mean, there's something there, right? And that seems to translate, and that's, I think, what we're seeing from Cam Scattaboo right now.
So he's even – I mean, he's a fourth-round pick. You said that you love – look, we knew who he was from the jump last year, I think, before a lot of people, because he just abused Mississippi State for what I felt like was like 700 yards. I mean, just gashed them. And I didn't know who the hell he was, transfer from Sacramento State, but I definitely did from week 2 on in college football last year. And like you said, they had that amazing year at Arizona State, he and Dillingham and so on. But when you do a great job with the NFL draft. And when we were talking to you leading up, you were like, dude, I love this guy. And you actually you said you could justify him getting picked a lot higher than even before the draft. You said, because I said, what do you think? I think I said 4th or 5th round. You went, no, I would be okay with grabbing him in the 2nd round pick. So after you got to evaluate him, you liked him from the jump, didn't you?
I absolutely did. And, you know, I do some consulting behind the scenes for schools when it comes to the transfer portal, for NFL teams when it comes to the draft. He had been on my radar, Scattaboo, for a couple of years. I mean, coming out of Sacramento State, when he hits the portal, he had already been on the radar for a while, and the guy just continued to produce. And there were a lot of teams. It was a deep running back class. There were a lot of teams that needed running backs. The second round was a rich range for a lot of teams, expectation-wise. You get Travion Henderson, Quinshon Judkins. You had a bunch of guys go there. Caleb Johnson went in the third. But I thought, when he got into day 3, I was like, all right, the Bears really needed a running back. I thought there were a lot of teams where Scadaboo would have been a good fit. And I think you see some of what he's bringing to the table for the Giants. So, yeah, I liked him a lot as a player. Had no issues with his – I think the lack of speed is the only thing people were worried about, but he's got plenty of quickness and everything you need up to 20 yards. I don't really care about long speed for him.
Absolutely.
And reminds me of David Montgomery in that sense.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would have had no problem taking Scadaboo as high as the second round.
Yeah, hell of a player there to reference. I like that. Steve Palazzolo, NFL Insider, brought to you by Stella Artois and Wings. That's a winning combo for this weekend. Cam Scadaboo, phenomenal game, phenomenal season so far, and not sure what to do with the Giants, but Jackson Dart's been inserted into the starting lineup. Scadaboo's playing, and also their defense. I mean, some of it is self-inflicted with the Eagles, but as you know better than we do, with all the players that they have on the offensive side of the football, I mean, they shut down Saquon in the second half. Hurts he's not capable of really throwing it for 40 times and winning like Dak and Mahomes and Josh and some other guys. AJ's still mad. Devontae Smith, Goddard. I mean, they got players. What is this, a Kellen Moore Super Bowl hangover? What's going on with the Philly offense?
It's tough to tell. I mean, there's been 4 coordinators there in 4 years for the Eagles. That's the first thing. And it's because you've got, coordinators get promoted when, two have been promoted, one has been fired, in the last 3 years. So they're on to 4. And there are multiple times in the Jalen Hurts era where the offense just looks stagnant. I mean, I don't have any other way to describe it. If you watch the Eagles this year, they go, 4 to 5 drives at a time without doing anything. 3 and out, 3 and out, 3 and out. And there was like 3-4 straight 3 and outs last night and then a pick 6. Just an awful second half for the Eagles offense after they put up 17 pretty quickly. And so that feels like that has been connected to Jalen Hurts regardless of who the coordinator is. And I don't know how to best unpack that. They're a little boom or bust where it's either let's throw the ball down the field or let's throw some screens, throw some stuff underneath. There's no, the money spot in the NFL is that 10 to 19 intermediate range where the best quarterbacks just eat at that area, deep outs and in cuts and posts and seams. And Hurts doesn't throw the ball in that area at all, almost at a record level low right now. And so they're just not attacking offenses the way most pass games attack. And then Hurts doesn't throw to the middle of the field either. So that's the other thing. Like, with 4 coordinators in, there's some similarities for when the offense gets stagnant. They're all similar, each year. And this isn't to say Jalen Hurts is bad. I think there are just limitations to his game that pop up and help slow down the offense. Even though I think he's still a very good quarterback. Like, he's a good NFL quarterback who usually does just enough to win, but you also get into these lulls. And so I don't want to overreact too much, but remember in 2023, the Eagles looked like the best team in the league. They were 10-1. They beat the Super Bowl champion Chiefs in the regular season. They beat the Bills. They beat the Cowboys. They beat every team that was perceived as good in their first 11 games. And then they just fell apart and looked awful, and they may have been the worst playoff team I've ever seen. They never came out of it. They got smoked by the Bucs. This is what it feels like right now. Over the last 2 weeks, say 6 quarters of football for the Eagles. They're very dangerous in getting into that territory. And I don't know if it's fully Hurts, the new offensive coordinator, Kevin Petula. I don't know exactly what it is, but they need to figure it out because it just looks pretty bad. And it's about, 2 quarters at a time where this Eagles offense just completely disappears. They did it against Denver last week. They did it against the Rams a few weeks ago. They were down.
They should have lost that game.
Yeah, I mean, the whole first half. So you don't know when it's going to pop up, and it's tough to watch right now.
Okay. Steve Palazzolo, NFL Insider, his show, Check the Mic. He joins us on the Farm Bureau Insurance Guest Line. The show is driven by your next GMC Yukon at Fowler GMC, Pearl Brandon. Let's go back to Scadaboo. So he's 5'10", 215 pounds. He's just a little wrecking crew, you know. I mean, he's here to stay, right? I mean, barring injury, what he is going, and teams will adjust to a certain extent, but what he is going to work going forward, right, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, he's not just Scatterbo. He's not just a battering ram.
Right.
He's got quickness to his game. He's a very good receiver. Like, he's not Christian McCaffrey good, but he was a smooth, catch the ball out of the backfield type of receiver, which is why I didn't like when people said, "Oh, he's Mike Allstott or he's Peyton Hillis," or I like the Christian Okoye cough. That was great. But because he's a smooth receiver as well. So he's a good runner, and he's going to finish plays. And then when you add that with the way Jackson Dart's playing, I almost want to ask you, did you think Jackson Dart was that special as a runner that the Giants are going to run, that they are designed run heavy with Jackson Dart this much? I mean, they're QB draws and powers and counters, and they're doing all that. You thought he was that special as a runner? That part surprised me a little bit with Jackson.
All right, here's why. Last year, they didn't have a running game, and Trey Harris, their wide receiver, went down for a chunk of the season, and they really weren't that good offensively, Ole Miss. But their defense was unbelievable under Pete Golding, and you know all about Walter Nolan and some of those, Trey Amos, some of those guys that were drafted. So he literally became, not only was he good at throwing the football, but he was their primary runner last year in not just non-conference, SEC play. And the dude took shot after shot, Steve, and got up. He's tough. So I was around him last year on I don't remember, a Thursday or Friday up in Oxford. I knew he was big, okay? He is a big dude, Steve. So, yeah, I don't know how long you can do this in the NFL because regardless of how big and physical you are, you still got to be careful. But, yeah, he carried their running game. See, the year before they had Judkins, Steve, but as you know, Judkins went to Ohio State. So the year before they had Judkins and another dude, and they could give Dart, some quarters off, really, and even some games. But last year, he took it on his back, and he was unreal.
Yeah, it's been impressive. And look, I thought after his first game against the Chargers, I didn't think he played that great.
Right.
Pass game wise, I didn't think it was very good. But he still found a way to win with his legs, and the defense made some big plays. I made the comparison just for that one game of what Tebow did early in the NFL, and it wasn't a derogatory comparison.
Sure.
Tebow came in and won a lot of games in an unorthodox style where he would only throw the ball a handful of times, not even complete a bunch of passes, but it shortened the game. The defense stepped up, and Tebow made plays with his legs. And I thought Dart got better in week 2 against the Saints. He dropped the ball for a fumble. There was a couple bad plays in there, but I thought he passed the ball better. And then you combine it with last night. He was dropping some dimes in there, Dart. I thought he threw a couple unreal passes that fell incomplete. So now you're combining. Look, I don't know if that this is his peak or this is the norm going forward, but his running ability as a scrambler, the design running game with Jackson Dart, but also his ability to throw the ball to, Will Jordan Humphrey and Wan'Dale Robinson. They didn't have big name receivers up there, and he was making it work. So I was really impressed with Jackson Dart last night because he added the pass game to the mix, and this Giants offense looked really good.
All right, well, now walk me through what you think. It's still early, but with the NFC East, Steve. So Philly was, as you just went over, was really fortunate to win early, and now they're getting dinged, and they should have lost to the Rams, as you and I discussed. And the Cowboys are good on offense and bad on defense. But if they can just improve at all, they may have a sliver of hope to get in. And the Giants may have something here with Dart and Scatterbo. And then you got the Commanders. So after what you have been able to watch the last 5 weeks, have you shifted to the Commanders as one, and then it's a free-for-all for number 2 in the NFC East? How do you see it?
I mean, not completely. I think it would be foolish to write off the Eagles.
Fair enough.
Given their track record. So the Eagles are still in the mix. But I'll say this, I think the division's loaded now. The point I made on the Cowboys, we can rattle off a lot of numbers that say this is one of the worst defenses we've seen in years. It's bad. But I don't think they should be that bad. So I think they'll get better. The Cowboys should not be as bad as they've been defensively. And your guy Dak is overcoming all of the offensive line injuries, and we see around the league when teams have 2 or 3 injuries on the offensive line, the offense falls apart. And if anything, they've gotten better. Run game with Javonte Williams has been good. Dak's made incredible plays this year under pressure, and he maybe the best football of his career. And maybe he won't be able to maintain that, but I think they'll be a good team at the end of the day. Still have to rush the passer better, have to play defense better, but I'm just playing the law of averages. They're not going to be the worst defense in the league. So I think Dallas is going to be in the mix here. Maybe not to win the division, but they'll be competitive. And then you have Washington. They held it down with Marcus Mariota. Jaden Daniels is still very good. Defense scares me a little bit in Washington. I don't know if they're as consistent as some others, but it's a very good offense. And Jaden Daniels, his running ability to get the ball down the field. And then the Giants are just feisty. They're going to be really feisty. Now, they've got a stretch here. They've got the Broncos, then the Eagles again in 2 weeks, and then the 49ers. So it was a great win. They've won 2 out of 3, the Giants, but they're still in the middle of this really tough stretch to prove that they're capable. But, yeah, they have a good defensive line that can change the game, and if the offense does what they did last night, the Giants are going to be a tough out. I'll still say the Eagles are the best team, but they've got a lot to figure out on the offensive side of the ball right now.
Okay, so who's your MVP? Cam Scatterboo, Dak, or Baker? Oh, never mind. I know how much you loved Baker coming out. I can remember having you on, and you loved Baker, and then he went to the Browns, and nobody, for whatever reason, makes it at the Browns. And then he bounced around for a second, and he's just got unbelievable FU in him and perseverance and resilience. And now he's balling out. But Baker and Dak are just playing big-time footballs. But talk to me now. Let's switch over to Baker Mayfield. What are you seeing with Baker? Yeah,
I mean, we did like a 10-minute oral history of Baker Mayfield yesterday on our show.
I love it.
We did love him. Yeah, we did love him coming out, and he had his ups and downs in Cleveland and the whole deal. He's like early in his career, part of what I loved with him coming out of Oklahoma was the attitude, right? Like was the fact, I think I remember saying like, I don't want to be the guy that doubts Baker Mayfield. I don't want to be that guy. Everyone doubted him. Walked on at Texas Tech and started, walks into Bob Stoops' office is like, I'm your next starter, wins the Heisman, the whole thing. I don't want to be the guy that doubts him. And you didn't always get that in Cleveland. At times you did. But he didn't have late game magic. Some of his accuracy was all over the place. Now all of a sudden it's like game's on the line. Baker's going to find a way to get it done. He's going to scramble, 3rd and 14. He's going to pick up 15. He's going to throw a pinpoint pass to Emeka Egbuka in the back of the end zone, whatever it is to get the job done. And the fact that they've had 4 wins in the last minute, I think it speaks to what Baker's capable of. And then there's a little bit of luck, and that's tough to sustain and what have you. But I think he's doing a great job elevating that team because like Dak, with all the offensive line injuries, Baker was without his left tackle for the first few weeks. Offensive line shuffled all over the place. Mike Evans hurt. His number 3 receiver hurt, and the offense has been excellent. So I think he's doing a great job and living up to some of the potential that I thought he had, 8 to 10 years ago when he was coming out.
This is incredible. Baker and Dak and Scatterboo. Absolutely.
Fun players.
Yeah, they're fun and their stories are amazing. And yeah, it's a ton of fun. And then Dart getting inserted into the lineup and playing with Scatterboo. This is crazy. And 2 of those 3 in the same division. So they'll play again. Cowboys and Giants play again. They played a couple weeks ago in a wild game and they'll play again. All right. So what is I ask you this most every week. It may be what you just went over, but what is or who is your surprise of the season to date, Steve P?
Good question. I mean, the Chiefs being 2 and 3, I think we have to bring up.
Fair enough.
And the fact that they're playing the Lions, and then the Ravens have to be the biggest one, just because of how before Lamar got hurt, it even looked awful. So I'd say the Ravens first. But if you looked at the schedule, one of the things I highlighted before the season was they're all playing each other. The Ravens, playing the Bills, Lions, and Chiefs 3 out of the first 4 weeks. Of course, like a disastrous start was on the table for Baltimore, the same way it was for the Chiefs. They had to play the Chargers, the Eagles, the Ravens, and now they're playing the Lions, and they lost to the Jags. So sometimes when you front load the schedule, you get teams that start 2-3, 2-4, and if the Chiefs go to 2-4, I mean, then you combine that with the Ravens starting 1-4, maybe 1-5. That has to be the story of the season for me. These annual juggernauts starting the season slow and then, giving other teams opportunities to shine. And then let's see if you can hold the Chiefs down. Let's see if you can hold the Ravens down for the rest of the season and throw the Eagles in there. So these top teams may be dropping off a little bit, giving some other teams some shine, but there's still a really, really long way to go. Let's not overrate that. The Rams started 1-4 last year and then finished in the final 8. So a lot of football to be played, but a lot of teams starting slow and seeing if they can dig themselves out of it.
I like where you're going. And there are some unbelievable games. Rams at the Ravens, 49ers at the Buccaneers, and Lions at the Chiefs. And there's more than that, but good grief. Aren't those great games, DP?
Yeah, especially, Chiefs Lions. I mean, there's so much on the line on Sunday Night Football. The Lions have won 4 straight. They look great. If the Chiefs fall to 2-4, you've got people saying, the dynasty's over and this and that. And it's like, yeah, they don't look the same, but like Mahomes at 2-4, we haven't seen anything like that. So that's what's on the line Sunday night against the Lions.
I can't wait. All right. Have you picked out I've only got a minute. Have you picked out your Halloween costume?
No, I went as a baseball player for like 8 straight years when I was a kid, so I wasn't all that creative.
Oh man. But your kids, you got 4 boys under 10.
Costume. Yeah, I have an elf costume that I just randomly walk around town with during the Christmas season. So maybe we'll bring that out.
Do you really do that?
I do.
That is incredible. What does your wife say?
I picked my kids up. She took the kids to Disney a couple years ago without me. I picked them up at the airport in the elf costume. They had no idea what to do.
Dude, that's a mic drop. That is so awesome. Funny. I mean, you're 6'10", and you're wearing an elf outfit.
I'm
Holy
thinking about going to the mall this year during Christmas time with the elf costume just to see.
No. You have to, and you have to put it. You have to go live on YouTube on your show page. My God, it'll probably be the most. I mean, I know you do well, but it'll probably be the most watched video you've ever done.
That's what we'll do this year. We're just going to walk around the Cincinnati big Kenwood Mall over here with with the elf costume.
And I just want you to casually sit down by Santa Claus while somebody has you on your YouTube video feed live. Oh my God.
We're doing it. So not Halloween, but Christmas time.
This is incredible.
All
right. Hey, have a good weekend. Appreciate you, buddy.
All right. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Steve Palazzolo, his show, Check the Mic. You can find it on YouTube. And they've been talking Cam Scatterbo and Dak and Baker and all the fun stuff that's happening in the NFL. Scatterbo and Dark and that Giants D with a big win over the Philadelphia Eagles. Hey, go to YouTube right now. Search Out of Bounds Sports. I'm going to make a cocktail in the 3rd hour, an Elijah Craig Old Fashioned, as we kick off Elijah Craig Old Fashioned Week.